time a regular meeting of the Board of Trustees for the Town of Green Mountain Falls will come to order. The date is January 5th, 2016. Wow. The time is 7:09. For the record, please note that Trustee Butts and Trustee Gardner are not here for us, or with us this evening. However, we do have a quorum. So let's please stand for the pledge. And Trustee Cook, would you please lead us, sir?
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you all for coming out tonight, January 6th, or 5th, 2016. Just thank y'all for being here, and I do want to take a moment and just mention tonight as we sit here, we do have exciting things happening down in Manitou Springs, and the new mayor, Nicole Nicoletti, is being sworn in tonight along with their new council. So I did call her and wish them well, and we are all community up and down this pass, and it's really exciting to get new people in office. So there are some additions and deletions to this agenda, as we just heard. The website, why don't we keep it there, you guys, and we can just move it down if need be. That's good? I think we do have the Thin Air Car Show under old business, and if you guys wouldn't mind, if we could move him up to, he's here, to after, if we can move him up to after the website presentation, would that be okay with you guys? And that way Bob can get down the hill tonight since he's up here as well. Is that okay? Okay. Any others? Okay. Entertain to approve agenda as amended.
So moved.
Second?
Okay. All those in favor, vote by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Okay, we have our consent agenda items. We do have the Board of Trustees minutes for the 15th of December and also the 21st. That was a special meeting, 2015. Bring into record the approved planning commission minutes. Oh, there are no minutes.
They would be on the 22nd.
Okay.
December 8th hasn't been approved by them yet.
Okay, so there are none of those. We don't have those. And bills run from December 15th to January 4th for $7,950.12. Any items need to be pulled out for further review? Any questions, board? No? Okay. And we will approve all these together. I'll entertain a motion at this time to approve the consent agenda.
Move to approve the consent agenda.
Second?
Discussion? All those in favor, vote by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Okay. Thank you. Okay. We do have public input at this time. This is for items not on the agenda. If you would please stand, go to the podium, state your name and address if you'd like to address the board. Please remember, this is a time for you to speak and not a time for us to respond back to you. However, if you do have questions, we can turn you over to the appropriate person. Turn you over. I don't know. Chief Bradley, that's probably not the right. Turn you over. Okay. Is there any public comment?
Mac Patrol 10840, Myrtle Street, still on Myrtle Street. I'd like to know why we haven't advertised for a new clerk. Been without an official clerk for over a month, and frankly, I think it's time that you advertise for the position.
Thank you. Trustee Butts is the liaison to the administration office, so we will get him to be in touch with you. That's, okay? Any other questions? Public comment? Okay. Awesome, new business. So we have an exciting night tonight. We have the GMF website presentation. Brian and
Jeff.
Jeff? So Jessica. So these guys have been working with us and doing a lot of work to get a new website up and running in Mount Falls. It's an exciting time.
We can set up.
So they're gonna show us all of this tonight.
So my name is Josh Eckhart. I'm the IT director for El Paso County. We came to the Board of Trustees meeting back in the summer and talked about ways that we could improve the town's website. We proposed a platform on WordPress that's widely used. We've made significant progress on that project to the point where tonight we're ready to show you the progress that's been made. And in our estimation, with a few more content edits, the site should be ready to be sent live. So as far as from the technical platform, IT, propeller head side of things, we're ready. We think we can throw the switch and go live with your website as soon as you all have a look at it and give your approval. So with that, this is Brian DeLong. Brian is a consultant that's under contract to the county. He helps us maintain our various web properties, and his company, IdeaVice, is the one that built this website and has trained your staff and populated a lot of the initial content. So as soon as Brian is ready to take the show, then we'll do our best to show you the website in its current iteration. While he's setting up, I'm happy to answer any questions. I'm not sure if you have any, but I think you'll find that the site's much improved from what you had before.
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay.
Yeah.
I just cut somebody off.
Here.
There's one right behind. I hope not. I apologize. We have a cable that we stuck in the bag that was always supposed to be there, and somebody was like, "We never use the projector. I'll take that cable."
Did you agree?
I tried to hide some of the room. Yeah, that's right.
Is that better?
That was good. That's as big as we get it. Good boy,
Want to pull the table back?
Old school Zoom.
Wow.
Now you're talking.
Yes.
Now you're talking. Yeah.
Probably be just out of focus for.
It just seems.
Okay. Hi, I think Jeff did an intro, sorry. Apologize for that. So I think as Jeff said, we basically took, we displayed the prototype when we had sign off, and then we've been working with various people doing training and populating content. So we got a full content calendar down there from that. So a lot of things are very similar to those that saw the initial prototype, and then we built out and populated content with the help of, I'll say, staff from Green Mountain Falls, and did several trainings over several weeks. So This should look fairly familiar for most people if you didn't see it. We overhauled the old site, took everybody's feedback. One of the main things was for this to be a responsive, mobile-friendly site, so it'll down or resize, downscale for phones all the way to laptops, all the way to desktop computers, and do all that. So we have the calendar and just kind of a brief about Green Mountain Falls. And then we have all of the content areas up there. So I'm just going to take a quick run through. Feel free to jump in or ask questions. We kind of did that last time for those that were here, that were there. So we have a news section that links out to the Mayor's Corner currently for the blog that's run by the mayor. That's there. We have an events page, which is basically the same events calendar. That's a widget on the sidebar, but you can come to the full calendar and you can search for events, and you can expand, you can manage your own calendars and different things like that. You should be able to. It's got an export function, so I believe the export will give you an ICS file, and then you can import it in that. It's not going to be a real-time data sync with a Google Calendar, but you could export it to that.
Just an event.
Just an event, yep. For that. I'll put a note to see if they have a Google export on that map
That'd be awesome.
widget. Well, I'll try to remember. I'll do a good job. My note taker's not here. We'll do a recap. If you'll remind me, I'll put it in my phone when we get done from that. The map feature, we had just done a general map just to give people a general idea of the boundary of Green Mountain Falls, and then they could get directions, save that. That does tie into, with the different things, that does tie into Google Maps from there. Departmental, what was there?
Local map?
You can zoom in, you can do different things on here. So you can zoom in and get your street view all the way there. You can actually pop it out into a larger map, and then you can do your satellite and all your other stuff, street view, drag things down, explore things that are floating around there. So you got all sorts of
Cool.
you can, I don't know what's at this intersection, we'll find out. So actually, that's not bad. So you can zoom that around with your street view. So that's all there. But it just starts kind of at the bigger boundary area, just so people can get a general sense of where they're at from there. Departments, there was, this was redone a couple different times, so in the final iteration, we've got Town Hall, Police, Public Works, Board of Trustees, and Planning Commission. I won't necessarily run through each one of those, but we'll click on the Town Hall, and it looks like it's weighting content population, so several of these were that way. I don't remember if we'd gotten content, so.
I think Board of Trustees.
Is Board of Trustees? Oops. I'm going all the way back up to departments. Strike Board of Trustees. There we go. So we started through Board of Trustees and got that there, so give you some idea of what's there. Good segue for Board of Trustees packets. So this has the meetings grid. You can search, you can filter, you can change your sorts. It's paginated, so you can go all the way back. I forget how far back it goes, a couple years for sure. So it's all there. So you have your agendas, and then you have your minutes, and then you can have others, and then you can put your packets in there as well. Very similar setup for the PC packets, very same. So this was kind of patterned but modified off of Man at Two Springs, I think, was what they were doing. A lot of people like that, so we did that. There's a general documents section, and this is where you have kind of all your documents broken out, your forms, resolutions, all those things are here, comprehensive plan, so you can get to all those documents easily from there. Contact us form, and this just emails in, and then will be handled and distributed to the appropriate party that you can do there. It also has contact information for the different offices around. And the last one is the town code, which is very similar to the documents, so it's just broken up by chapters and resolutions. So that was fairly fast, but general overview, since a lot of people have seen that before.
Did you make it searchable, the town code?
The town code is just PDF documents, so it's not going to be searchable unless those were, let me check that. Unless those were put in as, no, those are just PDF documents out there, so from that.
The comprehensive plan, does it include the maps?
I honestly don't know. That was back here. It would be whatever was there, so I see entire plan, which would be the whole PDF, so whatever is in the 66 pages of the PDF would be there.
That's the narrative. Maps are separate.
I see something that says map, town-based map. It's not rendering though, out of the PDF. So that would have just been the PDF document. So
Right.
going back to the original plan too, for all of this was, this website is fully editable by everybody that's been trained. So you guys can make content edits, whereas before it was always us. So all of that stuff can be added, modified, tweaked, adjusted, updated, expanded upon, redone for that. So
Who was trained?
I don't know who was all in the training.
Renee,
I was trained.
I have some training.
Mayor's had some
A
training.
total of 3 sessions, is that right?
There was more than that, but one person's no longer here, so I was trying to get on
Okay,
for that.
yeah,
I had one.
yeah.
So
So being a WordPress site, I think you'll find that it's fairly easy to edit content, and that those that have been trained already can probably pretty easy cross-train the others who might want it.
and we're still around and we can answer questions
Yep.
and we still have all the support and everything else. So that's not a big deal. Realizing there'll be some transition and some uptime even after training for that. So.
Brian, I know that there had been discussion in the planning commission, particularly about what Mr. Bratton had mentioned about the searchable, or
Mhm.
Mr. Loman. If we were able to get our plan to where it was word searchable, because it would be great to be able to do that. Could you
Sure.
put that on this?
Yeah, so all you'd have to do is take if you had the PDF that you can copy and paste out of, all you'd have to do is copy and paste that content out onto the web pages itself
Okay.
of that, and then you would just have to keep those in sync. So it's kind of a trade-off. You can make it searchable, but then you're gonna have to update the content in both places.
Okay.
If you're only updating the PDFs, then you just have to upload a new PDF when you get a new version. But the trade-off is it's not searchable within that. But you could also download the PDF and search just within the PDF, within Acrobat Reader and all of that stuff,
Oh,
and do it that way.
okay.
Depending on how the PDF is constructed.
Okay.
So if the PDF is constructed as images,
Mhm.
saved from something else, and we've seen that, nothing we will do will be searchable. So if it's from a Word document, and when you copy that Word document, save as PDF and do that, it'll be searchable just
Okay.
within Acrobat. So there's other ways other than just making it searchable on the web
Okay.
that you could do. The other thing would be, you could break it up into excerpts and put some keywords and some other things within those sections so that you would at least know which section of the town code or which section of the document or the plan, or to bring that up to the top
Okay,
for that.
perfect.
You would get to this page, or should get to this page, if you search for like resolution or something like that, because it's embedded into the button content and the other stuff.
So there's a search button on this?
There's a search button up at the top on
Okay.
the, up here,
Okay.
so that you can search the site. It's just gonna be a little different with the documents themselves, because they're not actually in the web part of the site. It's an external PDF. But there's other ways, and we're happy to help out or show you how to do some of that stuff, if you guys decide to go down that path.
Awesome.
Did you find a list of licensed businesses?
I don't know if that content was added or updated on the site for that, but if somebody wanted to manage that or do that or do that, then you guys can certainly put that on that site.
Well, the key elements that we wanted to, the goals was one, make it available on mobile phones, and two, make the content completely editable by town staff. So anything that wants to be added in the future, the platform is there for you to go get investors.
Is there any reporting or tracking that's built in thus far?
Usually most people will tie that into Google Analytics and get all their reports from Google Analytics, so that's an easy thing that we can tie that in and give access to and walk you through reports and traffic and all that from that side. So we can certainly do that before and have that at launch. That's literally one line of add-in to get that. That's how we usually direct everybody to go. Google Analytics does a ton of stuff, referrals and time on site and browsers and where they're coming from. You can get a lot of data out of that.
Mr. Brown?
Links to other sites, URLs, addresses to other sites, websites.
It's capable of doing that. There's not anything that's currently doing that from here.
Okay.
That wasn't on the list or the content currently that was there. I would just caution against some of that, of doing that with some of those things, but that's just a policy. From the technology and the implementation, you certainly could do all of that.
Links to the chamber site, links to the Trails Committee site should be readily accessible on this site. The URL underlines so it's interactive. You can call it up, jump to the other site.
Sure, that's, going back to what Jeff is commenting, all the things that are being brought up are all fully capable of doing.
Okay,
From that, from the tech side and from the training side, it's 100% capable of that. So that's just decision and time. Going back to that, that was one of the key elements, was for us to stand up the site, provide the training, and kind of turn the keys over so that you guys could control what goes up there, where it goes, what's there, expand, respond to requests as appropriate within that. So those are
So
all.
what we're seeing is what we're getting.
As we're handing the keys over, correct?
Okay.
That's correct.
Okay.
But that doesn't mean that that's the forever.
Right.
When you
for
say
sure.
we, is that,
Town.
okay, because I'm looking at this, if I wanted to register my dog, I as a Green Mountain Falls resident, just don't go on this website and pull up that dog license to get my dog registered, do I? Or is that something that, this is, I'm confused. Can anybody just go on this site?
This site is open to the public just like every other website.
So I want to go
is
get
open
my
to the
dog
public.
license. I can go on there and click on that and get a dog
You
license?
can click on that and get the dog license
Okay.
application.
All right. The application. The application, right, I don't,
Right.
and the same thing with the gazebo reservation form. If I want to get married in the gazebo, do I? You never know, you know. It could happen.
There's a lot of what if scenarios we can talk through tonight, for sure.
Why not?
So in general, those forms are there.
What is that? What is that gonna tell me? Is that gonna tell me that the calendar is open for me to get married?
That's
on that
literally
day?
just the PDF form.
Oh, it's just the application.
There's more there that you could print, fill out,
So it
and
doesn't,
be prepared when you went into the.
it doesn't give you like a
the place.
reservation schedule or what's available?
Currently not.
Okay.
that could be
Yeah.
added.
But it could be added to the event calendar,
Right.
it could be added to a lot of other things. There's a lot of capability for there, going back to, again, what we were saying. The goal was to stand it up on the platform, get the core structure and framework there, get the staff trained, and then you guys would have a lot more flexibility and capability for responding and modifying. And we're still around for things that come above
So I
and
just,
beyond.
my curiosity was that dog license, for example, I don't get that online and I go fill it out and I could pay online or I can go, but I have to get the
No.
license and still come down to Renee and pay for the dog license.
Currently, as everything stands, that's
Okay,
correct.
all right.
Your understanding
You
is
hide
correct.
enough.
Huh?
You hide enough. You need to be seen every once in a while.
Which is similar to the current website functionality.
Right.
Yeah.
I think you can do that today, correct?
Except that it wouldn't pull up on mobile phone very easily.
Right.
Yeah, correct.
When is this available?
Well, part of what we were doing tonight was to do sign off and then figure that out. If you know what the current URL is, it's currently out there and we've been doing back and forth and reviews and everything else. But the switch over to the current URL that you're using for the existing site is what we have to figure out a timeline, assuming it gets signed off, et cetera, tonight. So hopefully we'll have an answer to that
If this
later.
gets signed off on, then the other one goes away.
The other one would go away,
Okay.
yes.
Any other questions, board?
Just wanted to point out that the site itself continues to be hosted on El Paso County IT infrastructure. So we have 2 data centers, redundancy, a
Backup.
full-scale backups, all those
Yep.
kind of things, so. that's-
And all the support staff. and-
Support staff,
all
we are
that.
providing, any charges for that.
Can we consider this like a beta version?
And what?
This is a design version. But when you activate the URL so the public can access it, then the public can review it and give you recommendations for changes. So you should keep that option open, I believe, to the public to give you comments before you figure it's finalized.
It might be a website's never finalized, but that's
Oh.
my own view.
I understand.
It's a living, breathing
But
entity,
the
so.
initial review period.
Sure.
Everybody's anxious to see this, we're all anxious to go through it in detail, and we can give the town board feedback.
Dick, that's a good idea. It's going to take us a while to populate everything, anyway. Okay? So there's going to be plenty of time for people
Right.
to review, and certainly use the contact us, form to do that.
You might get some ideas on how to populate some of those blank
Absolutely.
pages. Yeah,
Because it'll be it's a time investment to do as much
right.
information there is for a town. So
Maybe,
hopefully we'll be.
looks
getting
like
out.
there's a lot of undone work. Is there gonna be a committee to populate? Or it's not, all fall on the town clerk?
No.
No.
Okay, good.
No, we wanted to stick
No,
around.
that's good, that's good. I'm glad we're not signing off on it tonight and then saying, okay, clerk, take care of it. 'Cause we don't have.
And our job for training too, Dick, it was fairly easy to put items in. I mean,
And
it's
if
a
we need
very-
assistance from the techies
But
here,
when we blow it and hit the
You
wrong
have
button,
something in the agreement
There
that
they are.
allows for some follow-up action.
Yeah, so we've hosted the town's website for a number of years. Before
Yes,
this site,
yes,
we edited the content for you.
yeah,
And we'll still have people available if you want
Good.
to add new
All right,
functionality or
good.
get into some new areas. Ultimately, the day-to-day maintenance, it was the town's desire to be able to do that themselves.
okay.
Is that accurate?
Yeah.
There's a safety net though,
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
and you can't really blow anything up.
and it'll grow exponentially because it's going to just take a long time for a couple people to remember how to get into it, how to do things.
Yeah.
Practice makes perfect, right?
Now, this is a gigantic improvement over our existing site. So you should be commended for
Oh, thanks.
Will there be a tourism thing on this?
we spent months talking about that. It was decided that we'd have a link to the chamber site that has all the tourist information. So the town wouldn't be burdened with maintaining that portion of it. So that's why we need a highly visible, for a good time, go to Oh, maybe that's
We'll
what
call
I'll
it
do.
Decisions on what content goes there are above my pay grade, so it's fully capable of whatever you want to do.
But the chamber site has grown over the last few years. It's where tourists can find out where to stay, what to do in the area. And so the chamber's maintaining that. Take that off the back of the town. Many towns do this. They have a town government site, they have a separate tourist site. In our town, the chamber is taking care of the tourist site.
That's wise.
What is this gonna be called? How is it gonna, the website, what it be
It'll
called?
be at the existing URL, so it'll be gmfco.us, I think it is.
Yeah.
I think that's what it is. Forgive me if I'm wrong on that, but
It is.
it's gmfco.us at 99%.
So if somebody does a search engine on looking for Green Mountain Falls, what it's got to offer, will this come up?
It should come up in the search. It may take a little bit of time with
And
the
that would,
transition.
and if somebody wants to know about resorts and vacation rentals and stuff, it'll, like you said, go to the.
chamber.
It'll depend on what that is and who's doing the SEO and what keywords and links and other stuff you put in there. So that's gonna be a very dynamic as you go, but in general, as this gets traffic and as it's on the existing URL, you should get your SEO traffic carryover from that. Vacation rentals, it probably won't show up just because I don't think the words vacation rental exist anywhere on the site, so it wouldn't come up for that, but
If you get a generic Green Mountain Falls Google search,
it would
you
come.
get the town's website, the Chamber of Commerce's website.
Yeah, they get my
any of
website
the
too, but I
rental-
was saying, I was wondering if those things would come up for everything else.
Yeah, for vacation rentals specifically, probably not this site. I'm not sure we would want to.
Does,
So is there room? Oh, excuse me.
does the town still own that .gov domain name that was purchased a few years ago?
I don't think we do. I think that was my husband and
The good thing about .gov sites is nobody else can get those besides government, so if you wanted to revisit that, that would be fairly easy.
Is there room on that top toolbar for one more item?
That's a hard question to answer.
Tourist information?
Tourist information would not fit,
How about tourism?
maybe.
And would there be tourism content, or would it link you out?
No, it would give you a separate page, as I envision it, that has the Green Mountain Falls Chamber logo, their URL, their contacts, and a way they could click on a URL and go immediately to the chamber site.
So regardless of whether it would fit or not, people are trained and have capability to do that. And then it would just be back to the reason I was hedging my answer of would it fit, it's responsive design. So as that gets smaller, there may be some intermediate devices for which it wraps or looks funky or changes over between that. The other option would be you could always change the font size down, you could reword something else. So it's a hard question to answer of would it fit. Just tourism information, just looking at it, it probably wouldn't from there. But back to all these questions, fully capable of the staff adding those things, walking through those things, figuring out what you want to do, what the policies are for how that content gets on there, how it gets approved. All of that would be after the transition and the handoff from that side. But you certainly could do that from the technology and the structure.
Well, I'm looking at documents, and most of them are dated 2014. Are those the only documents that are available on this site at the moment?
Those are the only documents that we were provided that we have uploaded in the current iteration. But again, going back to training and the other stuff, people can add to that, expand upon that as you guys go and build that up. But in its current form, what you see is what's up there.
So if you go on their website now, Mr. Patron, that's what you will see. That's all the documents that are out there right now.
The 2014 date was probably the date that Mark was
site was brought up, and so that's what's they put on those documents, even though they were like 1995 for the municipal code or something like that.
What's your definition of packets?
So, I think what you refer to there is the agenda packet or the planning commission packet, so the agenda, the backup information, whatever's supplied.
So it's got agenda, meetings, minutes, packets. You could add a packet that I think technically goes out before the meeting's had.
Typically, and it has backup information about the items to be discussed at that meeting. I'm not sure the contents of your packet, but generally that's how that works.
And if packets doesn't work and you guys decide you want to change it to something else, it's fully capable.
So it's just, it's not limited to just that.
It's not a word I put.
That's what the town.
That's correct.
The only thing that was mine is Green Mountain Falls, Colorado, and the gazebo photo. And a few color palette choices just because they match kind of your existing site to try to give a transition from that site. But yeah, in general, all the content was provided to us or was moved or migrated from the old site that was over there.
So are bills run gonna be part of the packet that's put in there after a meeting?
The idea behind towns going to this and putting this all online is to decrease the amount of FOIA requests, because then you don't pay as a citizen, have to pay for it. It does take time for the clerk to get it out there for the website to do it, but then that's not the clerk's time responding to court requests, so it's kind of the balance of that.
So like, the pending ordinances would show up, the final passed budget,
Stuff like that should be.
the audit for
Yeah.
2015
Yeah, that's all good stuff.
in
Resolutions,
total.
Yeah,
contract.
anything that's, yeah.
So, you've got a lot of good suggestions tonight, and you'll probably continue to get a lot more. I think you should encourage people to channel those in one particular way, whether it's the contact form, like Trustee Cook said or not, and then refocus to accepting the work that's been done as one action, and then direct the public to how do you want to receive their feedback on content as a follow-up. Set a workshop for a future date. There will be priority discussions for that, I'm sure.
There, under the news, there's an easy way just to put in a statement about that. Well, it can be a mayor's statement, you know.
No, you can, sorry.
Yeah,
I couldn't remember what we decided on.
yeah, we can certainly do that, and just in there, when they look through that, they'll find a statement saying, please look at the site, give us your feedback, use the contact form. That'd be the most efficient way.
So does the training, because I'm listening to Mr. Bratton and I think sponsored, I wouldn't call it sponsored links, but just approved links from the town, such as the board, the chamber. With that could be also located on a widget on the sidebar as well, right?
Correct.
I mean,
Yes.
So that it would.
Yep.
always
Yeah,
be-
you have
always
full
be there.
control of
Rather
side-
than a tab and taking up.
Right.
Yep, sure. And sidebars can be configured on a per basis, entire site-wide.
Mhm.
You can do a lot of different things with the sidebars that are there. So you could definitely do that. Other sites have different things that they do for that. I mean,
And how about bill pay? Some form of bill pay?
that wasn't within the scope of this, but
I
you
know,
could-
I'm saying that.
Yeah, sure, but from a technology and the
So if that
capability
tends to
of this,
come,
you can
rely
definitely
on
do
El
that.
Paso County to assist us with setting that up as part of your support.
I'm sorry, say that again.
So if for whatever reason we got to that point, then El Paso County's assistance would be part of that.
We definitely have some experience there. The whole tricky question there is the idea of a merchant account with your bank, you're gonna accept credit cards.
Yeah. All that aside, just to make sure that we can get the technical assistance on the website.
Yeah.
Bill pay for what?
For you say your dog license, or?
That's what I thought you wanted
Yeah,
to
have
do,
to application.
taxes.
Whether it's just a
I don't
link
know about
off
that.
or whether it's an embedded iframe. or-
Whatever we
There's a lot of ways to,
working.
yeah,
Uh,
depending on scope, we have to do full programmatic and some APIs, that was probably a discussion topic, but if it's an easy.
Point down there, what we're telling me, said that.
Fine.
He thinks he's the fault.
It's just an embedded.
Tell me.
Sure.
And the one other thing I noticed is, pulling it up on my phone, the departments doesn't populate in the mobile.
The department's,
When I,
menu item is not.
yeah, when you go to departments,
What
at
kind of
least on
phone
this
are you
iPhone, it's just blank.
So I think a lot of the departments, did you go to the Board of Trustees page?
No, I went to departments. So
I
under
don't
your
think there's
departments,
any-
you had,
We don't have any.
I don't think
Oh,
there's anything.
Yeah, so I think if you go to
I thought I
departments.
saw him on the departments.
Is it on our phones now? I mean, can we pull up our phones now?
Yeah.
If you go to that URL.
Well,
So-
see, what I'm saying is I go to departments, right, and there's nothing there. I can't go to the Board of Trustees because there's nothing there.
There's no drop down.
No,
I don't know. Was I just not?
it's there. No, it's a. No, so what it is you have to click on the expansion
I see,
to get
okay.
it. It probably needs, no, it is hard to see.
Okay,
It's,
very good, thank you.
yeah, no, we'll try to adjust that color. Just on your phone and the contrast, because I'm even seeing it on the projector, the colors are too close, that it's blending in. So, we'll, that's an easy tweak
I'll look at that one later.
from that.
So,
I need to take notes. real
so we
fast.
had
No, no,
a
no,
couple
you're-
of things. Trustee Stevens, Google thing, what was it called? The animal-
Yeah, once. Okay, yeah, I'll just start with that. I don't know if it does or not, a lot of stuff with it. Google Calendar integration, menu, sub-menu, color, contrast. There was another one of something.
Did you hear this, the Google?
I got the Google Calendar integration, I've got the menu, sub-menu, colors from that.
Google Analytics.
Google Analytics, thank you. I could keep track of the count. Pretty good.
So I think those are things.
So for Google Analytics, we need to tie that to an email address. I don't remember if we set up a general email address for a few things, if there was something we tied that to. It would be good for something that would transition as staff might change or that's not somebody's personal email address, but we can take that offline. That's just, we'll need to set that up to that. Because if you set it up to another one and that person leaves, you can't move the account, so they would forever have access to it. So we just need to set that up for something general. That's also not mine, or not ours.
Anything else for?
I guess my final question would be, what does signing off symbolize? What does that mean?
So you guys tell us if you're ready to flip the switch and you wanna have the mayor tell us that, or,
So that would just be to replace,
yeah, hey, we're ready to make this switch. Please proceed, go live, whatever you wanna call it. But from our perspective, both sites are ready to just be swapped. And if you wanted a period of time where you wanted to come back and edit and put content in first, that's understandable too. But we're pretty much finished artists.
So what do you think, Board?
well, I think if the public was to have an opportunity to look at it and provide feedback, they need access, so. If that's the only implication of saying, yes, we sign off, is that we're flipping it and allowing.
Well, those two are somewhat independent, and with this URL, the public can hit it if they know the URL. It's just not your URL that's widely available and tied to everything. So the
Right.
switch over is part of sign off, I guess is what we're saying, and transition. And if you guys wanted time to review it, you can hit that URL, do whatever you want to.
So is the
and then
contact
make
us
any
active?
changes. Yes, sir, the contact us should be.
So even if they went to this and then.
I would just need to double check what email address that's pointed to and make sure that it's pointed to something that you guys will respond to. I'm 99% certain that it is, but we would just need to double check that.
Probably yours is.
It's, I was gonna say, it's up to you, but this is still just a basic skeleton.
Yeah.
So there's not a lot of information, so I don't know if we need a little more time to
Probably not.
populate it more.
Well, I think what he said,
Yeah.
Sure, that URL out now, people would comment while.
Reach out to me.
But I was thinking maybe we need to February first to change our.
We're not going to Connecticut all the site, so that's all I'm saying.
Someone said something on the contact us, I can see in the official post.
One of the suggestions I would have is you could advertise this temporary URL on your current website and ask the public to give you feedback for the next 2 weeks. As a way to get some buy-in and buy-off so that it's not this shock of I got this new website. Because that URL is active and live, so you could kind of transition people or give them a chance to provide feedback.
See maybe like February first date to go live with this one, give us a chance to work with this.
Okay.
But you said you're gonna use the old URL for the new.
Yeah, so there'll be a period of about 24 hours where.
Okay,
that's
after
whichever
24
happens.
hours,
Then all of the traffic will go to the old URL.
then we won't have
One
any
that you
access
saved.
to the old site.
Correct, sir.
The public won't have access, it'll still be on the county servers for a period of
Okay.
time that we will have, and we need to set that so that we could grab content, or if somebody said, hey, we don't have that document, it only existed on the website, and we'll do a backup and archive of that when we do it. So public won't, you necessarily wouldn't, but there will be avenues to go retrieve content if we needed to.
Though I would say that's not gonna be forever.
Yeah.
There'll be a certain period of time without a goal line.
I'd follow up to my previous question. I checked the registration. greenmountainfallsco.gov is showing as an active registration to the town of Green Mountain Falls. So you might want to decide that before launch, whether you want the old URL or the .gov one that you own.
So if you do that, would you guys still be able to manage that?
We need to get you to transfer that address to us. So it's registered on our servers.
I think there's one point that .gov came with ADA requirements that we will keep adhering to. Do you know if that's the case?
I do not. We do not use .gov on us.
I don't really answer what I do.
That was one of the reasons we went the other route. We didn't necessarily use ADA requirements.
So how would one deactivate such a thing?
What's that?
How would we deactivate such a thing?
What do you mean deactivate?
Cameron just said it's licensed to the town of Green Mountain Falls, so apparently we have control
Yeah.
rather than, because I found that too, that when I searched, there was 2 websites. And they both wasn't good, so to eliminate that confusion, I think.
I thought the other official looking one was not that one, it was a separate.
There's nothing there. It's just the name is registered.
But there's another,
Okay.
Green Mountain Falls, it's privately owned. It's like greenmountainfalls.org or something. And that's, someone privately owns that.
So,
But there's no reason we couldn't point that to this one.
Absolutely. Or you could have multiple addresses for it. Just redirect.
so I like the idea of a launch on February 1st, a Monday, or Tuesday. The 2nd is our first board meeting. And then on on the previous one, not this one, but having some kind of direction to people. Can we get them to look at this
Okay.
from there?
And you want that fairly prominent high
Right.
placement?
Please, a new site will be, something like a new site will be launched
Launching February 1st.
February 1st.
Take a test drive.
Between now, something like between now and then, please give us your feedback. So,
Is there anything on there that keeps track of how many people actually visit that site?
Well, that's what
That's the Google
Trustee
Analytics
Stevens
question.
was-
There will be.
Yeah,
There
there will be.
So we have that on all our websites too.
So, you guys like that? Okay. And then between now and February 1st, we can get comments. And then, once it's up and running, we can always as well. That's the great thing about this. If we don't like something, we can take it down. If we do, we can add something else, we can. That's the beauty of this thing.
Down the road, you want a refresher training session, we can schedule that too.
Okay. You probably will need that. So, okay. Sound good, guys? So, I guess we need a motion to, for launch on February 1st. You guys want February 1st or February 2nd? February 1st, that's a Monday, a launch. So a motion to launch our new website on February 1st and to put a link to the new site on the old site, directing people to provide comments.
So moved.
Second?
Any discussion? Okay, all those in favor, vote by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Very nice. It's exciting stuff.
Jessica didn't come, Jeff came in Jessica's place.
So she doesn't found, I did a Woodland Park, so.
Yeah.
It was a.
Jeff, Brian, thank y'all so much.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you, thank you. It's nice.
Sorry about my cord fiasco. Yeah, that's the fastest I've been up and down the mountain.
I was gonna tell you about.
I saw it coming up, I followed him coming up, so
You wanna grab it?
I was scared a lot. I wasn't too curious. No, you're good, I'm disconnecting now.
Well, the marshal was at the meetings.
I probably shouldn't have said that's the fastest I've been up and down the
Yeah, but
mountain.
the state trooper was sitting there
Yeah,
this
the
morning.
state trooper. How did that work?
I tried to leave it like it,
No, no,
not always successful.
I don't think it's on. See that back? Okay. We so appreciate you guys. Thank you very much.
Happy to help.
Awesome.
Plug it back.
I guess I should say Commissioner Clark is always happy to help with the towns and municipalities in the district.
Yeah, thanks.
Yeah, that's worth it.
I'd beat the power cords for sure. I'd beat that, yeah.
Okay, so we're gonna continue on. Our next item of business is the New York Car Show. Bob is here, and this is for discussion only. Thank you for waiting, sir.
Mayor Lori, members of the council, I'm Bob Collins, I'm with the Colorado Springs Driving Custom Club. We've had a fair history of having our Thin Air Nationals car show here in Green Mountain Falls for I don't know the number of years exactly, at least 15 that I'm aware of, maybe more than that. What I'm here tonight to do is hopefully get you all updated on some of the changes that we are envisioning in the Thin Air Nationals Car Show and some of the background information about who we are as a car club, why we do this show, and talk to you a little bit about some of the details relating to the show, and come back at a point later at your next meeting, by that time, we would have filed the application for a permit and would talk to you at that meeting about the permit itself. But tonight, I'd like to make this be informational in nature and make this be an interactive thing. So if you have questions, I hope you'll ask them, and I'll do my best to answer them. I had originally planned on having a couple of extra people with me, but I'm in tonight, so I'll do my best. I've been with the car club since the late 1970s, early 1980s. We have been a car club since 1974, and the Thin Air Nationals Car Show started probably within the first 3 years. And originally, it was a show that was run in the Colorado Springs area. The ones that I most remember are the ones that were held at Pinecone Ranch up in the Black Forest, and for a number of years. They were very small, very intimate kind of feeling. And it's grown and it's changed over time into the event that we have been having here, where we have roughly 200 custom cars. Not all custom. Sometimes these cars are original, restored cars. Sometimes they're custom cars. Sometimes they're hot rods. They're street machines. They're all kinds of different cars. It's an open show. We have no limitations on year of manufacture. If somebody wants to enter a car, we take the entry and provide an opportunity for them to show their vehicle. The date for this coming year is July the 16th, is a comparable date to the dates that we've had for the past number of years. Let me just continue talking just a little bit more about Colorado Springs Rod and Custom. We're a car club that's been around a long time. We have currently just under 50 members. About 35 cars are associated with those members that are up and driving. And the 200 cars or so that we have at our show are participant cars, and then we have another 30 or so club cars that are here as well. So we pretty much fill up the area around the lake. And so the club itself has been around a long while. We have a website, just in case you're interested in looking at some of the pictures and some of the other stuff that's there. You go to www.Colorado Springs Rod and Custom, just spell it all out, Colorado Springs Rod and Custom.com. And you'll arrive at our website, and there's pictures of events and a number of other things there. One thing that we are anticipating adding this year, hopefully this will get done, is a way for our participants to register their vehicles online on the website and pay their registration fees there as well. So we're hopefully going to try to get that into place this year, which I think will be a lot more convenient for our folks who want to be in the show. Last year, J.R. Mariano Nandine was in charge of our show. J.R. has taken a secondary role this year. We have a committee of 7 members from our club who are taking the responsibility to put on the show, and I'm acting as the leader facilitator for that group of 7. And so we'll be a little more broadly based in terms of how the show is run. Some other concerns that were expressed by our club members over time has been around the location of the show, whether we want to continue to have the show here, whether we want to look at other options, and we were asked actually to look at some other options and have done so. However, I think we've come back to believe that what we really would like to do is have the show here again. But at any rate, I have a little planning document here just so you know that we've spent some time preparing for the planning of this event. 5 pages of work. And each of the 7 members of our committee has a duty and responsibility to attend to their part of the planning and execution of the event. The goal of our Thin Air Nationals Car Show has always been, and will always continue to be, to provide a good, fun, laid-back kind of experience for people in the custom car community and the classic car, vintage car community who like to attend car shows, enjoy talking with other people like mine, who enjoy being around cars and looking at cars and building and bringing their own cars together for these kind of shows. Provide a good experience for them. That's our primary goal. That's what we're all about and why we do this. Unfortunately, money becomes an important component of how do we get there. How do we get from where we are to reach that goal? One of the things that we thought might be helpful information is just a little bit of the finances that you may or may not know about what it takes for us to do this car show. Aside from the fact that we have close to 50 members, and every one of those members has work to do and participates in putting it on. So there's a lot of man hours in this thing, but there's costs as well. Our revenue for the show on average for the last couple of years has been somewhere around $11,000, not a lot of money. So we look at $11,000 is what we have coming in. That includes all the registration fees and everything else that we do for providing T-shirts, which we have artwork made specifically for this show, put on the T-shirt, and they're sold as part of registration, and they're also sold in addition to that. So all the revenues packed together around $11,000. Our expenses on the show run somewhere around $9,000, $9,500. This year, we were fortunate to have approximately $3,500 in cash donations from sponsors around the Colorado Springs community and other sponsors, some of whom are here in the Green Mountain Falls area. So cash donations went a long way toward helping us make this succeed. And one of the things that we, as a committee, wanted to do to look at this is figure out ways for us to get ourselves in a little more solid place, because all it would take is 1 year where we have a 10% loss in participation in the event, and we're in a situation where we're losing money. And when we're in that situation, the money that's lost has to come out of our members' pockets. That's the bottom line. Our organization is a nonprofit organization, so our goal financially is to break even. This year, and for several years, we've done a little better than that, and our club has adopted the policy of donating whatever we can out of the proceeds of this event to the Silver Key Senior Services Organization. So this year, there was a $2,000 donation. Over the past 10 or 15 years, we probably totaled, I'm going to say, somewhere around $14,000, $15,000 in donations to this charity. And that's not our goal. Our goal is to provide the fun event, but it takes money to do that. So to ensure that we are headed in the direction we want to go, which is to be able to do this event, we're looking for every way possible to cut costs. One of the things that we looked at this year was, we actually have two components to this event: a Friday afternoon and evening pre-registration party, where people come into town with their cars or come pick up their registration packets, and we have provided a party for them that Friday evening before the event on Saturday, and then the Saturday event proper. One of the things that costs us money is the entertainment, the food and such that goes with providing the party. So we had a conversation not long ago, actually before Christmas, with a couple of the business people here who have food establishments. And they seem willing to talk to us about trying to bring that part of the event to Green Mountain Falls as well. Up till now, we've been having that part of this event in the Colorado Springs area. And it's been costing us anywhere from $400 to $700. This last year was around $600. What we're trying to do is figure out a way to cut those costs back from that part of it and bring it to Green Mountain Falls, hopefully bring a little revenue to you folks as well, trying to hook up with the residential community here, so that some of our people coming here from out of town may want to stay here and be right here in town. Up to this point, we haven't done much to encourage that, but I think there may be some possibilities. So we're investigating that at this point. Let's see. Let's come back for a quick minute to the financial picture. The expenses for this show go a long way toward helping our club stay together, work together, be together, and do things so that we all get a kick out of it. And bottom line for all of us is the fun of being around cars. With our guys, we build them, we drive them, we go to shows all over, and we try to exchange these ideas with other people at other events. So typically, our guys will go to car shows in Pueblo, Canyon City, Denver, all around the state, and sometimes out of state, with the encouragement of trying to bring people in from out of town. So these are, I'd say, participants in our show mostly are in the region, let's say from Monument down to Pueblo. A few cars from Denver, but mostly in this region. Up into the mountains here, Green Mountain Falls, Cascade, on up to Woodland Park, on up to Cripple Creek and the like. So we draw most, I'd say about 70% of our cars from that circle. We have cars coming here from out of state, we've got cars here coming here from regional areas around various places. And I think they have a good time. The feedback we get is that they love this environment. They like being here. They like the laid-back nature of just being able to get the chair out, sit by their car, and talk to people about their car. So it's really a pretty cool experience for that. I don't know what more you would want to know about, but I'm more than willing to talk about anything more that you want to. I know your time is valuable. I don't want to use up more than my share of it. Do you have questions that you'd like to ask me about our event or our car club?
You've been doing it here in Green Mountain Falls for how many years?
18
More than 15. I think
18.
It's at 18.
18
Yeah.
years. Wow.
I
Okay.
think overall we've been pretty well received in the community. There have been notable times when we've been told that there are some who are not particularly supportive, but we like it.
Yeah.
Are there other things that the town can do to help support the events in terms of changing around the venue or changing around other things that we can be doing that are helping you to enhance the event or broaden it or whatever have you?
Well, I think, bottom line is on the number of vehicles that we can have here, we're fairly well closed in at the 200 level. It's going to be very difficult to get many more cars than that in here. If we were to, for example, have our club cars not come one year, that gives us another 20 or 30 spaces that we could use. So making the venue larger is probably something that we're not particularly pushing to do. We like 200. It fills up the area. It makes for a very good event, and people like it about that size. And so we're not trying to push it off into 300 or 400 or 500 cars. There just wouldn't be a way to do a lot more cars than what we have, and people like it is. And so we're pretty much liking that. The support that you could provide would be to help us figure out any way possible to cut our costs. Okay, that's one piece of this. The other part is I hope that we can continue this positive working relationship that we have established over these years with the town and be considered an asset to your town. I think the business people who have businesses associated with what we do down in the park area appreciate the business. What we can talk about at the point in time when I come back for the permit approval would be what are the fees going to be. And I would suggest that you might want to think about that a little bit. If there's any way you can adjust or help us out with keeping the fees as low as possible, we'd like to talk about that. We've had security services through the police department here in town. The sheriff's office at one point provides that service. We'd like to talk about, what's involved with that, and how can we meet your needs as far as the security goes, meet our needs for the security, and still keep the costs low. Okay? So those are the things that I think would be the most helpful in terms of providing support. Now, the moral support for keeping this thing going would be another piece of it.
Well,
Yeah, we have your website, so now we can definitely,
Yeah, I was looking for your website on my phone today to see if I could find the agenda for this meeting.
Yeah, no.
On my phone. I didn't find it. Say, hey, how about this?
Yeah.
It's gonna work.
that would be good. Awesome.
Thank you for having
Okay,
me
well,
tonight.
thank you.
Please feel free to let me know if there are questions, or you have my phone number.
Okay.
I don't
Yeah.
know what customer.
And so, I guess between now and our meeting, our next meeting is the permit. So contacting Renee and getting your
Yes.
application,
Yeah,
and we can get you on the agenda to go ahead and approve.
I'll get in touch with Renee and see if we can get the application filed,
Right,
so that it's on board for your next meeting.
right, so that would be the
The
19th.
19th,
19th.
I'll be here.
Okay, awesome, 7
Very
o'clock.
good. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Bob. Okay, our next item is Resolution 2016-1-5A, declaring the Board of Trustee vacancy. As you all know, Trustee Ellis did resign, and so we have a resolution here to be read tonight. It says, whereas the Board of Trustees for the Town of Green Mountain Falls, Colorado, pursuant to Colorado statute, and the Town of Green Mountain Falls Municipal Code is vested with the authority of administering the affairs of the Town of Green Mountain Falls. Whereas Section 2-20 of the Town Code provides that in the case of a resignation during their term of office, the Board, by a majority vote of all the members thereof, may select and appoint from among the duly qualified electors of the town a suitable person to fill the vacancy, who shall hold the office until the next biennial town election. And whereas on December 14th, 2015, Trustee Ellis sent a letter of resignation to Mayor Worthy, and said letter was read at the December 15th, 2015 regular board meeting. Now therefore, be it resolved by the Board of Trustees of the Town of Green Mountain Falls, Colorado as follows. Trustee Ellis's resignation is hereby accepted and a vacancy declared on the board. Applications to serve as a trustee for the vacant position on the board will be accepted until January 15th, 2016. At the January 19th, 2016 meeting, the board will consider the applicants for appointment. Since Trustee Ellis was appointed with the term expiring in April of 2016, the appointed trustee will serve until the remainder of the same term, expiring April of 2016. If any article, section, paragraph, sentence, clause, or phrase of this resolution is held to be unconstitutional or invalid for any reason, such decision shall not affect validity or constitutionality of the remaining portions of this resolution. The Board of Trustees hereby declares that it would have passed this resolution in each part or parts thereof, irrespective of the fact that one part or parts be declared unconstitutional. Existing resolutions or parts of resolutions covering the same matters embraced in this resolution are hereby repealed, and all resolutions or parts of resolutions inconsistent with the provision of this resolution are hereby repealed. Introduced, resolved, and passed in a regular meeting of the Board of Trustees of the Town of Green Mountain Falls on the 5th day of January 2016. Any questions, Board?
Are the applications available at this time? Just so someone.
So,
Currently, the town has a application for a planning commission member. And it's my recollection that usually a letter comes in for a board member position with a resume. So it's less of a formatted application, more of a tell us about yourself and why you qualified. So we can change that, but it's up to you guys. And as far as the dates for when they're coming back in, I just pick dates and put them in there, so as you know, you can change that.
What do you guys think? I like that. I sort of like the letter, the resume piece of that.
The application I glanced at earlier for planning commission asks a few questions that might be helpful. It's like, why do you want to do this, and some other things. And my suggestion was maybe just get rid of the word planning commission and make it for volunteer positions. Then that information is answered for anyone that they're considering appointing to any volunteer position. I did not screen all the questions in that very planning commission specific or something like that. But we could have a more generic set of questions that we ask people, and then certainly a cover letter and resume would help as well.
Okay, so we can change some of that wording then on that planning commission one. Mr. Brett?
Just for your information, it's not just a planning commission application. It's a standard form that you guys developed years ago.
It might have been, right now the one says planning commission.
We've been using it for the Trails Committee, for the Parks Committee.
Okay,
So,
okay.
you know, I'm just suggesting that's a good form, it's served us well, and it does have some questions on it
Right,
that are pretty important.
okay. So let's.
You don't have to use it, just,
Right.
it's there.
Right, so I like that with a resume type thing attached. You like that too, just what they've done and why they want, so, to do that. What about the dates? The dates are appropriate?
I think the dates are okay. My only concern is that we need to ensure that if tomorrow someone wants to fill it out, we have something for them that's to fund, rather than.
Town hall is
It's
closed tomorrow.
closed tomorrow, it would be Thursday,
Okay, so Thursday, so by Thursday.
Thursday.
So could we direct that to prepare such a document for distribution?
Yeah, sure.
Do you know if that is in a Word format or you could alter it?
The question is, do you want to try to be a little more lax on the form of ones that come in now? Because you don't have a lot of time. I think, you're looking at less than 2 weeks then. So do you want to change the form for this one or change the form for future ones? Or?
No, I think we should change it now.
I think we should change it now, and I like the idea that it's a suggested list of questions to hit and to respond to. I don't think it's a disqualification if they didn't fill out the form.
Okay. So just a written letter.
Yeah,
Okay.
okay. So, then we need a motion to direct staff to,
We need a motion first to accept the resolution.
oh, okay, accept the resolution.
I move to accept the resolution as written.
Second.
Discussion, all those in favor, vote by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. And the second piece, Mr. Cook, is a motion to direct staff to, develop that letter,
Prepare an application
prepare an application.
to be ready Thursday.
Okay.
Is, I so move.
Second.
Discussion on that? Okay, all those in favor, vote by saying, is there,
Just, I think Renee was suggesting to send it out to us prior, and I'd say skip that and just use
Just do
your
it.
best judgment.
just,
Send it out.
okay. Okay, all those in favor, vote by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, very good. Yes,
How are you going to advertise this?
word out, getting word out. We can get a little notice at the post office. Yeah, and at the post office. Word of mouth. Okay, so between now and January 8th, 15th, yeah. Okay. Okay,
Are we confident that we're gonna have a quorum at that meeting? Saying there's 2 or 3 of us are out. You're out,
mhm.
and I'm out. Butts is out. That's it. You're in there.
That's what I said.
We won't be having a meeting.
Yeah, me, but we can't do anything.
Well, you know, you could extend the time to, you're not gonna have a meeting